it always makes me nervous when it's just circling for a minute and it's taking its good old time to go live. It's like, and then it finally goes live, and yay. What's up, guys? I am Josh of JBauerArt. This is Back Talk with Bauer, and we have an awesome cosplay guest tonight to chat with. Cosplayer, mermaid, artist, all kinds of things. So we got plenty to chat about tonight. Before we get to there, Back Talk with Bauer is proudly sponsored by Kingdom of Comics. Facebook.com/Kingdom of Comics Shop. Make sure you put 2 S's, Comics Shop, because if you only put one, you will not find them. It is over on 43 South Babcock Street, Melbourne, Florida. Jason and Paula, the awesome owners of the comic shop of Kingdom of Comics, are huge supporters of mine. I greatly appreciate their support, their love. It is so cool to have them backing me. They have backed my artwork, they backed the graphic design, and now they are officially backing the podcast. If you are in the Melbourne, Florida area or around Central Florida, or if you're in Florida, drive down and go check them out. If you're not, go to their Facebook page. You can message them and you can get all kinds of stuff from them. New comics. They're an authorized CGC dealer. Toys, graphic novels, rare collectibles, pops, statues, back issues, and so much more. Like this bad boy of Ahsoka I picked up the last time I was over at the Kingdom. I got a cool comic book, and then Raphael, who's sitting over there, as another Funko Pop. I actually, it was a rough day at work, so I forgot to text Jason and message Jason on what I should talk about tonight. So we're going to go with what I talked about last week, because I'm sure it's still relevant. Radiant Black, a guy has to return to living with his parents, discovers he has cosmic powers, and the cosmic beings want their powers back. That's a new comic book that you can pick up over at Kingdom of Comics. They also have a variety of new original Transformer Funko Pops, Bumblebee and Megatron. They also have a bunch of Star Wars Funko Pop keychains like Boba Fett, Han Solo, Leia, and Chewbacca. And there's tons more. There's tons of Funko Pops. They have huge sections of graphic novels, all the latest and greatest comics. You can also get on Fridays half off any beer with the purchase of a trade paperback or graphic novel. Ask about the drink to go deals, and make sure if you go into the shop, you can now see my artwork. If you see the paintings behind me, there is even more at the Kingdom. I think I took down 7 pieces. Jason actually bought my Venom piece, so yay me. And then we hung out the rest of them, so they are all on display and available for sale. So please check out Kingdom of Comics or head to facebook.com/Kingdom of Comics Shop and let them know Back Talk with Bauer sent you. They got their big Saturday event, February 20th. They're doing the big signing with like 2 or 3 of the guys that were behind the works of the recount that we just talked about on Saturday. And I believe if you go in on Saturday and say that Back Talk with Bauer sent you, you get 10% off your entire purchase during the signing. I don't know if it's all day Saturday. You got to ask Jason, the king himself, for the deal. But I'm sure he will make it work out for you. So let him know that Back Talk with Bauer sent you. And that's only in person, by the way, I think. You could try online. But other than that, let's get the show on the road. I'm talking twice. Shush phone. Shush. Jeez. It's going terrible already. I always know that I do a good job on the video and the music when I'm watching the guests in the bottom of the screen kind of bobbing their head and getting, yeah. I was watching. But welcome. I am Josh of JBauerArt. This is Back Talk with Bauer. It's Tuesday night. Let's get ready to go. I got to turn my little fan on here because I'm already roasting in my creative cave. But welcome, guys. I feel bad that I say that I'm roasting when over half the country is freezing, but I live in Florida, so it's toasty down here. But did you like the video at the beginning? Do you like the graphic design stuff here, the paintings on the back of the wall, any of that good stuff? Head over to JBauerArt.com. I made all this stuff. I'm the creator. I'm a graphic designer, artist, video editor from time to time, and a podcast host. So if you are looking for a new painting, a new logo, social media stuff, whatever you need, something creative, message me, email me, hit me up, let me know. You can find all that at JBauerArt.com. And I am open for commissions right now. I'm working on one small painting for a art show next month, but my rest of my schedule's open. So if you've been wanting to get a painting from me, message me. Let's talk details. You can even do payment plans. You could put like 50 or so bucks down and I can get started, and you pay it off in the end, or you pay small chunks. So whatever you need, whatever you got going on, let me know. And then shout out to Inked Marketing. That's www.inked.marketing. They are the awesome folks that are sponsoring this show as well. And they help grow your Kickstarter audience. If you got a Kickstarter coming up, Indiegogo, any crowdfunding things, Inked Marketing is the place to go to make sure you get funded. They're awesome folks. They do all kinds of different things, including working with podcasts like Back Talk with Bauer to get you either on a guest spot on the show or a live read. So you can actually be a live read like I'm about to do right now. And this is the part of the show when you guys and my guests find out that I can't read. So this week's live read is for The Listener. I believe this went live yesterday. It is on Indiegogo. Let's begin with the death of a man. Always a good way to tell a story, right? He was a quiet man, but when he spoke, people listened. It was always worth it. He talked about being a Native American soldier in World War II frequently and the hardships he went through. There was no regret in his stories. There was, however, horror in his words. These stories have been wrapped with supernatural twist, and The Listener was born. Come see the Kickstarter sensation that is now on Indiegogo. Search The Listener on Indiegogo or visit www.thelistenercomic.com today. So yeah, shout out to Inked Marketing. Thank you guys so much for helping me keep the lights on, paying for the bills of all that everything goes in this podcast. And yeah, so yay us. So this is episode 45. Yeah, 45. Yay me. I've remembered numbers. Shout out to Mama Humphrey. Thank you so much for popping in. And to Chad, if anybody's in the comic section, say hi, introduce yourselves. If you're new, let us know you're there, because I have an awesome guest tonight. She is a woman of multiple talents. She is an artist, a cosplayer, a mermaid, and heaven only knows what else. But I am proud to introduce Lady Alora. Hello, how are you?
Hello, how are you? I'm good.
Good. Thank you so much for taking time out of Tuesday night for hopping onto the show. You're a busy lady.
A little. So, a few hobbies.
Just a few. Hello. Okay, I'm terrible with reading.
Hi, Zemi.
Okay, we'll go. Hi, Zemi. There we go. I like that.
Hi, Zemi.
Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm glad you had some Mermaid Queen, as what she's calling you. Or I'm sorry, I don't know. He, she?
She.
Okay. There's
my
tiny little
friend.
pictures, so it's hard to tell. So, yeah, you have many talents. As you can see, you're wearing one right now. You have stuff behind you. You're a mermaid. You're a cosplayer. You're an artist. We talked about this a little bit before we started the show. I was not stalking, it was researching your Instagram. It's
Yes.
Researching when you have a purpose.
Yes.
But I was doing some research, checking out all your stuff, and there's so much to talk about. Where did it start, though? Like, how did you, what was first? What did you get into first?
Oh, gosh. That's a good question. Huh? I don't know if cosplay came first or mermaid came first.
Okay.
I want to go ahead and say cosplay came first. I made my first Mermaid Tail and I made my first cosplay at about the same age, at 16.
Okay.
But I always had a big passion for costumes, and that's because my mom would always make my brother and I's Halloween costumes. We never wore store-bought. Like, it was always something custom. It was always something, what do you want to be this year? You know, I wanted one year to be Miu Ichigo from Tokyo Mew Mew. So she made me the little pink magical girl outfit. I got a cat tail and ears, and no one knew who I was, but I was happy. I was like 13 or 14 or something. And my brother was like Edward Elric from Full Metal Alchemist, you know. So we could be whatever we wanted.
Right.
Ever we wanted. She dressed me up as I Dream of Jeannie one year. That was really fun.
Nice.
And but she's always made my costumes, so I've always had a big dress up box as a kid, and then I've always gotten, you know, the coolest outfits. She made me, I think my favorite one that she ever made me was probably my Barbie Rapunzel outfit.
Oh,
I was in the
wow.
5th grade when that came out, and
Okay.
I wanted it. I was like, oh yes, I want to be Barbie Rapunzel. But our school would only allow you to dress up in costume for Halloween
Okay.
if you had a book to go with it, like you were a character from a book, and then you could share the book. So I was like, oh no, it's a Barbie movie. What am I gonna do? But she found it. She went to the bookstore and she found that they had put out a book version of it. So we got it. I still have the book. And then the costume is somewhere in my parents' house. But we even got 4 feet of fake hair for me to wear. And everything. It was so much fun, and it was so sparkly, and that was probably my favorite one. So she instilled the love of costuming and making costumes and stuff in me. And then I made my first one when my dad took me to Gen Con in 2016, when I was 16, but it was 20. Oh, I can't do math. 2009?
Yeah, we'll go with that.
I think it was 2009. I think.
There's no fact checkers in Back Talk with Bauer, so we're okay.
That's true. All right, good. We're good. I was able to go to my very first convention at 16. It was Gen Con, because my dad goes to Gen Con every year, big gaming thing in Indianapolis. And I was like, I'm going to be Pikachu.
Oh, there you
go. I got some white Keds, and I dyed them bright yellow in the pot on the stove. And then I went to Goodwill, and I bought every neon yellow piece of clothing I could find.
Okay.
And I made an outfit. I had like leg warmers. I had tights going on. I had like this little this bright yellow skirt that I had dyed, this kind of fluffy thing over like a tank top. And then I took like those stick-on felt and cut little circles of the stick-on felt and stuck them on my face. And had a little headband with the ears that I made. And then I made the tail with cardboard, and I padded it with some pillow stuffing. And then I took a clear bra strap and attached it to the top of the tail to the top of my shirt, so it would stay up.
Oh, that's cool. And then you whack, because
otherwise it wouldn't.
Yeah. Now, how many people did you like whack in the face? You know you're doing it on purpose.
Not too many. I was pretty proud of that.
You just turn and go, oh, I'm so sorry. It's just the tail has a mind of its own. Oh no.
I know. But it was adorable. It was terrible cosplay, but I thought it was adorable for my first one.
Even like now not to die down your creativity back then, but it sounds like you're doing a lot more extravagant ones now, I believe. But even what you just described now, I'm an artist. I paint pictures. Like everything behind me is my work. Like doesn't like when I talk to people about that, they make it sound like it's a lot of work. I'm like, that's nothing. I've heard cosplayers talk like just that whole thing with your first cosplay sounded exhausting.
Oh, you should. Oh man, I got 2 other ones that are far more exhausting.
Yeah, I'm sure there are plenty, and I've always, because like I have cosplay friends. I have this whole group of people that I've hung out with, and they're always trying to talk me into doing cosplay. I'm like, I barely can be myself. I don't want to try to be somebody else, and I don't want to put all the work into it.
It's fun because you just you can be yourself, or you can be in character. You don't have to do either. The fun thing about cosplay is it's playing, so you can just kind of do it your way.
Right.
But the great thing is now that cosplay is so much more popular mainstream, is you can buy a lot more.
Right.
Which is great for people who are like, I don't really want to learn this entire hobby, but I really want to be in the costume and I really kind of want to do it, but you don't necessarily want to put in the blood, sweat, and tears for the skill. Yeah. I
already have 3 hobbies. I don't need a 4th. I've told my wife, because my wife was cosplaying here and there a little bit, just dressing up, because I would drag her to the conventions and stuff when I was selling the artwork. So she would toss on some things. I told her the only thing I would probably do is buy like one of those Spider-Man suits and call it a day. I'm like, that looks easy enough.
Oh yeah. It's just making sure you have somebody to zip you up and down. I did do a suit once, and that was the mistake I made. Because I did it. It was I was a humanized version of GLaDOS from Portal, if you ever played that.
Yes.
It was just a whole suit, had the Aperture logo on it. It was customized with black and white, kind of like shiny. And I laced it up with computer wires.
Oh.
Mistake. It looked cool because I had like these wires like coming out of my back, like it was really like I had escaped, and I was like, oh, it's cool. I had explodable lemons on my hip, like lemon grenades. I was like, it's great. And but I did not go to the bathroom for 9 hours. Like I did not.
Oh man.
I wasn't, when I got out of that suit, when it came off, like that was it. I was done. Nope, and we're done.
Welcome to the show, Willow Schuyler from Willow's Pillow Talk. She says your headdress looks amazing.
Well, thank you. This is by Wonderland Arts. She's a fantastic artist, I believe, located in Germany. And she specializes in a lot of mermaid accessories and stuff like that. This is actually completely waterproof. I can swim in it, perform in it, and
get caught in the rain with it.
But it's fantastic. She makes incredible things.
Fantastic. Now let's stick with the cosplay a little bit, because I don't want to jump and give people whiplash. This is an ADD friendly show, but I don't want to give people too big a whiplash. So let's stick with cosplay for a little bit, because I know that area a little bit more than mermaid sides. So how many different how many different characters you've played? What are some of the characters you've done? Just like a few of the top ones, maybe.
I was about to say ballpark of how many?
Ballpark's a good
20-ish. Okay. I want to say, I don't even know. I could be totally wrong. I can't do numbers.
Maths for quarters.
Right. My favorites, my staple is Sailor Moon. If you can't tell, I've got this little crescent moon here. I brought Sailor Moon into my one of my more recent Mersonas, and we'll get into that later.
But I like it.
Yeah, there's terminology.
Oh, we're gonna learn a lot tonight. Yeah,
we're gonna learn so much. But I love Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon is my hero. She is my idol. I've got her autograph and Tuxedo Mask's autograph sitting right there on my computer. I've got some artwork of her. She is everywhere in my home. There's a whole tapestry there. She is my hero.
That's awesome.
And I'll love her till the day I die. I've done several iterations of Sailor Moon. I have I've done my Sailor Moon Mermaid. I've got your classic Super Senshi Sailor Moon. I've got Princess Serenity. I've got a witch Sailor Moon that I did for Halloween one year.
That's cool.
So I really love, I've got her pajama outfit as well. Hi, Amelia.
There she is. We were talking terrible things about you before the show, Amelia. Hopefully you have recovered from HarleyCon, and hopefully it all went well. But hello, Amelia. Harley Quinn Arts, Cosplay, and Crafts. I think that's how her whole thing rolls.
I believe so.
But thank you for popping in. So yeah, lots of Sailor Moon. What else have we done?
So Sailor Moon's a big one. I like a lot of Disney. Elsa's probably my favorite.
Cool.
She's definitely my favorite. I recently did one of my big projects. My last big cosplay project was doing her new spirit gown from Frozen 2.
Oh wow.
And that was a pain.
Now that's the all white one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
yes,
yeah.
It is the all white one.
Yeah, I'll admit it. I've watched them. I like them.
It's Disney. How can you not?
Exactly. There's only a couple of Disney ones I don't like, but Frozen's good. I do like the original Frozen a little bit more.
I liked Frozen 2 better. I don't know why.
Yeah. I do like her Into the Unknown song. I do like. There's a metal version, or not a metal version, a rock version.
Oh, the Panic at the Disco version.
Yeah, I love that one. That one's fun.
That one's probably better than the original.
Yeah. Just the guitar and the breakdowns for it are fun.
So
and then I have heard somebody played a metal version for me. I think there's one out there, and he did a badass job. There's certain Disney ones that are really cool. Amelia's slacking; she hasn't seen it.
Amelia, we're not friends anymore.
Yeah, Amelia, if we can ever have get-togethers again, we'll have to have a dinner thing, and we'll watch Frozen 2.
I'll dress up and sing every word for you.
So you're known for her perfect princess pose and balance. What is this about? Thank you, Matt, by the way. I'm very interested.
That is Matt. He's we met working at Disney together.
Okay.
A long time ago when I was on my internship there. And so what I know what he's talking about exactly is we were off work one day. We went to Magic Kingdom, and we were talking about like how I still do like the princess stuff. I was still doing princess parties on the side and stuff like that. And he's talking about with how you have to have like, well, the princesses, you know, they balance books on their heads and they can walk perfectly. And I was like, oh yeah, bet. And he was like, okay. So he was like, I bet you can't get from the castle, and we were going to Jungle Cruise. Balancing this Coke bottle, this half full Coke bottle on your head. And I was like, bet. And so I did it.
That's awesome.
And it was great. I think he still has I'm sure he still has that video somewhere. He took it about halfway through. He was like, I can't believe she made it this far. I think the bet was actually only until Adventureland, I almost want to say. But I was like, oh no, we're going to Jungle Cruise. This is going all the way to Jungle Cruise. I made it past the Spitting Camel. I was like, it's easy. It's easy.
Now, is that part of the princess party training to do that, or was that just a thing you can do?
It is not. It's a thing I learned to do in marching band.
Okay. Okay.
I learned how to walk without moving my upper body.
What was your instrument?
Flute.
Okay.
I still have it somewhere. It's down there.
There you go. Matt was legit floored.
He was losing his mind.
That's awesome. And if you guys are tuning in, if you could do me a favor in the comments, tag somebody that is not currently watching that you think would dig this. It would be nice to build up the audience. I'm always trying to build up this audience. This show is still relatively new. So getting some new people, please like the page, share, all that good stuff. I greatly appreciate it. So what other princesses, because I love, my wife's a big Disney princess fan. We actually have the collection of shoe ornaments from down
yes
so I love those because as a creator and artist I had to collect them, and I just like collecting cool stuff like that. So I bought her almost all of them. Yes. But yeah, so what other princesses have you been?
I have been Anna before. I was Anna for when I first started with one Party Princess company. They started me as Anna because they already had an Elsa and they desperately needed an Anna. And I was actually I was also shorter than the current Elsa. So so I started off as Anna, and I love Anna. I don't personally have a cosplay of Anna, but I do love her dearly, and she is very fun to play. I've done, let's see, I've been Briar Rose, Princess Aurora. I was her for a good number of parties. I've done Tinkerbell, which is also one of my staples for cosplay.
I saw that one.
Yes, I have a cosplay of her. I started off doing a classic, not the classic Tinkerbell. I did kind of the new one when the new movies came out, the Disney Fairies movie. So I had a little dress with a whole bunch of leaves cut out and painted, so it looked like a whole bunch of layering of leaves.
Oh, that's cool.
But that dress eventually died, and so we went with classic Tinkerbell. So it's just that nice classic green. My favorite thing about my Tinkerbell dress is that I have bells inside of it.
Oh, that's cool.
So I jingle everywhere I go.
Nicely done.
And you can't see them. They're tucked right inside the skirt, like just enough inside that you can't quite see it.
Now, is it so like you're usually at conventions and stuff? Is it a loud jingle, or is it like kind of quiet that you can kind of hear it? So you have
can hear it as I'm walking by. Like you can definitely, you could hear it if you're next to me, and maybe if you're like a person or two over,
right?
You just be like, "Did I hear a bell?" You know, it's
That's
just
really
kind of.
Cool. I like that.
She's one of my favorites because also she's sassy as all get out. And
I
really like having an attitude sometimes. It's just fun.
Oh yeah, my wife was a big Tinkerbell fan. We kind of broke her of it though, because like I feel bad. Like my wife doesn't, especially for the holidays, her birthday, Christmas and stuff. She doesn't never know what she wants. She doesn't ask stuff. She like once in a blue moon she'll know something. But I'll be like, hey hun, what do you want for Christmas? I don't know. So like we found out she liked Tinkerbell for like 3 or 4 years. Everything she got was just Tinkerbell. So yeah, she's not the biggest fan of Tinkerbell anymore. I think she's finally growing back to it. But yeah,
you burned her out.
Yeah, luckily she latched on to Harley Quinn. Now she has a Kia Soul all done up in Harley Quinn on the outside, courtesy of me. Oh yeah, I'll have to post the pictures. I've had a couple new people start following me. So it started off with my Kia Soul. I have a yellow one, and I did it all in Batman. Yes. So it's got a giant bat symbol of my design with spray paint and bats flying off of it, and then there's bat stuff inside. It's crazy. And then she got jealous because I had the cool car. So finally she was able to get her car. So she got a Kia Soul because she loved mine. She got a red one, and I made it Harley Quinn. Hers is very more low key than mine, but it's still quite a bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll have to post those pictures, or I'll send them to you so you can at least see them, because everybody digs those.
Yeah.
Amelia's boyfriend saw her car while they were driving. I know, Amelia. One of these days we will be allowed to see each other again.
Whole photo shoot at the Harley car.
We have a few pictures of the Batmobile. But they weren't that great. They were on the phone and stuff. So I've been wanting to get with her. But now that we have both, I want to find like a full warehouse parking lot type thing, and then take pictures of both. And then it's one of these days.
Right.
Oh yeah. So now I'm a big Marvel Comics, DC Comics fan. I know comics a lot better than, I know Disney princesses, which I probably shouldn't admit, but I know Disney princesses very well. But we got any of the superheroes in the mix?
I haven't done as many superheroes. Sailor Moon's basically my superhero. I love superheroes, and I love Marvel. I love all that stuff. I'm more of a Marvel person than DC, but I do like DC.
Okay.
I've been meaning to always do a Poison Ivy, but I haven't ever gotten around to it.
I see you doing a perfect Poison Ivy.
Ivy, I love her. I'm like, that's Eat the Rich. It's beautiful. I love it. Great. Good role model.
Oh yeah.
Why everybody hates her. But I also pull a lot more from video games. There's one superhero I've done. I have done. I'll be your Ivy any day.
Now, if you do become Ivy, you have to come to the photo shoot.
Yes, I have to go to the photo shoot. All right,
we need to get everybody and make
plenty
it
of flowers and greenery that I've got left over from when I made a flower dress.
There we go. We'll just throw some green paint at you. It'll be perfect. Spray paint works, right? Yeah, that's totally safe.
An airbrush.
Yeah. Oh, okay. There we go. Slightly safer. Slightly safer.
It's better. Slightly better for the skin. Can get it off. Yeah. But I did She-Ra. 80 She-Ra.
Cool.
So I've done She-Ra, and that was a lot of fun. But I also like I said, I like to pull from a lot of video games as well. I've done Princess Zelda.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Adore. I did her regal attire from Breath of the Wild. Long sleeved, kind of like that regalia. It's only seen she's only seen in the cutscenes anyway in Breath of the Wild, but when she's like doing official things and stuff, I was like, oh, that dress is gorgeous. It's so regal. It's so pretty. I was like, everybody's going to do her traveling outfit. I was like, I think this one's going to be less done. And I was like, it looks like something that would make me hurt. So I want to do it. And it did. It was, I do it. The living room was a disaster. Everything was everywhere. I learned how to make appliques. So that was something I learned how to do for that. And then my brilliant self decided to make it out of teal velvet for some godforsaken reason in Florida. And it was really great. It's beautiful. I love it. It was a big hit. I wore it to my first and only time doing a cosplay booth at SuperCon.
Okay.
Cool to be a guest and be invited there. So that was a lot of fun. And I wore it on Saturday. I wore it on the big day, and I overheated.
Oh, that's the worst. Now you're based in Florida, right?
Yep.
Okay. That's what I thought. I couldn't remember. I was trying to think. I'm like, I'm pretty sure. And you can't do mermaid stuff, most other places. A little bit. Definitely not Ohio. I'll tell you that. There's
actually a very prominent mermaid in Ohio.
Oh, yeah, there is.
Her name is the Ohio Mermaid. She is wonderful.
Yeah.
And she's got this really great pixie cut. Like, she's adorable and everything. And her face
Oh,
is
that's awesome. I'll have to look for that.
yes,
She just gets to be a frozen one for like 9 months out of the year.
I was like, they're a little more seasonal. She travels a lot.
Okay, yeah. I'm originally from Ohio, so like I've seen a few mermaids getting carted around at the Renaissance Fair up there. Yeah, but we get like 2-3 months of like mermaid weather, and then the rest you're mermaid popsicle.
Part of being a mermaid, sometimes professional mermaid, at least anyway, is just kind of sucking it up and getting cold.
Oh man, I can't even imagine it. Whew.
I think the coldest water I swam in was like 50 degrees.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So, and we're a couple more cosplay questions, and then I want to get to the mermaid stuff. So, what are some of the? Have you been to like quite a few of the conventions around Florida? MegaCon,
yes.
SuperCon,
yes,
Tampa Bay Comic Con.
I haven't made it out to that one. I almost did once, and then I can't remember what happened, but I didn't end up going.
We've probably passed each other at MegaCon at least, because I've been to quite a few over the last few years. Two. Okay. I haven't had a booth at one for a few years, but I did artist table 1 year, and then a booth a couple of years, and now I'm back to just going as a fan.
It's fun to not have to. It was really fun. Like when I finally got to be a cosplay guest and like do that, and I was like, oh man, I've never had a booth at a convention before. This will be cool.
Right.
Work.
Yeah, it really is. It's more fun being a guest, because then you're not putting the grand into the booth trying to be at the booth. But
that's true. But I was like, you have to be at the booth at a certain amount of time. And then you have your panels that you have to host, which I actually really like the panels. It's made me consider. Well, then COVID hit, but I really want to do like panels at maybe others' conventions, not necessarily be a guest or anything, but just try to host panels, because that was really fun.
Panels are always really interesting. I've done a few as an artist, part of like an artist creative one, and we've had a few different other creatives in there, and we've gotten a few good people. Like, it's always amazing too, especially for that one, when people show up. It's like, holy shit, you people are here. I'm like, there wasn't something better to do. Miss Amelia wants you to do a panel during HarleyCon, and you don't have to go anywhere for that one.
Oh wait,
Amelia, I was actually thinking of doing the next HarleyCon, or the one after, of doing a show with you, Lady Alora, and Sugar Brown Cosplay, and do like a cosplay, female cosplay one, and just talk about crazy stories and stuff. We can keep it till the 8 p.m. one, so they can be adult stories and crazy fun times. I'm always the adult kick, or I'm never the adult. I'm always the kickoff to the adult stuff for HarleyCon. So it's fun to switch it up and do like a panel type thing for that. So maybe we can make that happen. But yeah, and I'm sure like everybody else, it's been Brown Sugar Outlaw. I knew I was missing one word. Yeah, that'll be fun. We'll have to figure that one out. But I'm sure it's been a good while since you've been at a convention. So are you still, I hate getting into the COVID stuff, but you got to talk about it a little bit here and there, and I try not to dwell on it. Are you still?
There's no way you can't touch on it.
Yeah. So are you still doing like active cosplays right now, or is it kind of taking a back seat with COVID?
It's definitely taking a back seat. Okay. I have very, very thankfully, I'm very, very lucky. I've have a beautiful group of friends that I play with Dungeons and Dragons online with.
Oh wow, that's cool.
I love them very much. We've got to know each other over the past 2 years. I came in only knowing the Dungeon Master and sort of one of the other players. And they just kind of welcomed me in with open arms, and now I have a beautiful group of friends. And
that's awesome.
They actually all live in Ohio.
Oh wow, I'm so sorry for that.
I know I feel bad for them too.
I feel so bad for a multitude of reasons. And I'm curious on whether Ohio is a big ass state. Like, somebody's like, oh, oh, you're from Ohio. I'm like, yeah. They're like, where at? I'm like, Northeast. They're like, oh, I'm in Columbus. That's like another fucking state compared to where I'm from. It's insane how
college up there in Columbus.
Okay, yeah.
The Ohio State.
Yep. Oh, that's awesome. All right.
So I've been cosplaying when I play Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, okay.
So that's kind of how I've got it. We also
Are you a mermaid when you're?
I am not. That would be a Triton, I believe, would kind of be the closest thing I could technically play. I play a wood elf.
Okay.
She's great. We've had this campaign going for technically 2 years, but the first year was a bit sparse. We've been really solid for about a year now. We stream. We have a whole bunch of fun with that. And like when we do it, our like people can interact and fuck with us.
So you're making like a whole show of it and everything.
We do, yeah.
Cool. That's fantastic.
A little group name we're called Out of Alignment, if I'm allowed to mention it.
Yeah, you plug everything. That's what the show is for. So yeah, Out of Alignment. Please go and check them out. You're on. So where can they find that at?
They can find it on. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on YouTube, searching for Out of Alignment. But we are hosted under our DM's name, Panoramic Panda.
Panoramic Panda.
Twitch and YouTube, and then we also, like I said, we have a personal Out of Alignment Twitter, and we also have an Out of Alignment Discord, which is found in his Twitch bio as well. So you can always join our Discord and talk to us. And we don't talk about just like the campaign itself, but mostly Dungeons and Dragons. And
very cool.
Lots of memes and art and all sorts of things, and which has also been a bit of inspiration for my art while I've been in quarantine, has been my Dungeons and Dragons campaign, which has been a lot of fun.
Okay, so that's all the little drawing, not little, but all the drawings I've been seeing.
Ones that you've seen, yeah.
That's cool, yeah.
I finished up the other 2 portraits, and I need to post them, but I've been. But yeah, it's a group of 5 of us. We hang out, we play Dungeons and Dragons. I dress up as my lovely little wood elf. I usually, I've got, actually her wig is sitting, it's just off camera, but she's right over there.
Right over there. Very cool.
I pretty much have her ready to go, but that's kind of how I've been getting my outlet with COVID, has been playing Dungeons and Dragons. And
very cool.
Playing while we do it.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, that's honestly, this show came about because of COVID. I've been wanting to do a podcast. I love doing podcasts. I love going on other people's show. I usually like going on there and causing trouble and telling really bad jokes and just getting that reaction of, I can't believe he just said that. But yeah, exactly. But so I've been wanting to do it forever, but I was always doing other stuff with the art and trying to become a world famous artist and all that stuff. And then COVID goes, no, you're done. Sit down. Like, oh, okay, cool. So actually, Amelia was my first guest. I decided to do it. I got the stuff to do it, and I'm like, "Hey, Amelia, you and I could talk a lot. We can talk for a good hour. Would you be a guest on here?" So yeah, and Amelia's been on a few times, and I've been doing my show for her HarleyCon events, and it's we're episode what did I say, 45? So 45, I believe. Yeah, we're almost to the year mark now, so it's been getting there. So wait, what did she say? I love interacting with people who've never met me on your shows.
It is fun interacting with strangers. I mean, in a safe environment.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Amelia is always entertaining because usually when I have her on with other people, because I like the HarleyCon ones are podcast super shows, so I usually try to get like other podcasts that aren't normally in my wheelhouse. Just to try to build us all up and get us a bigger audience. Yeah. So they're more of, some of them are comic book fans, some of them know it and stuff. Other ones are very not in, like never been to a convention and stuff. So we'll be sitting there talking, and then Amelia pops in with her full Harley get up, and then she just lets everything fly because we're the adult side. So yeah, she usually gives everybody a good chuckle. We just we had 2 new groups on this past Saturday, and it was I love watching their faces when she's just going. So we've actually talked a lot about cosplay. We got to talk about mermaid stuff. How does one become a mermaid? When did you become a mermaid? How do you get into it?
It's
you have to, like, take out another mermaid to become that mermaid. How does this work?
It's definitely different now than it was when I got into it. There's a lot more mainstream mermaids and stuff kind of going on there. I did not make the headdress. It was a custom commission by a beautiful headdress maker. She makes all sorts of different designs and creations. She makes tops as well and accessories that are all waterproof. It is Wonderland Arts, but Wonderland with a U. She's based out of Germany, and she is fantastic. She opens her commissions a couple times, I think maybe every other month or so.
Nice.
once a month, but I managed to grade in one time, and I absolutely love this more than anything. It's my favorite. It's my favorite accessory. It's my most prized accessory.
That's awesome.
For sure.
Well, and real quick, sorry to interrupt, but while everybody's in here, there's usually, there's more people than usual, and there's lots of creative people in here. So if you're in here and you want some people to see your, your stuff, I know Randy, you got the wood burn, or I think Randy's the wood burning. I'm hoping I'm not messing up, but Randy's got some talent, is a very talented creator. Amelia, you got all your stuff. Drop your links in the comments, guys, and like each other's pages, support each other, and let's actually, let's use this video and this time to help support each other. But yeah, so how do you get into being a mermaid?
It started when I was 16.
How did you, at least?
Yes. There's some different ways to get into it now. I kind of stumbled face first into it a little bit. So I was 16. I'd always wanted to be a mermaid. I used to tie blankets around my legs, crawl around the house, and I'm like, I'm Ariel now, and I'm a mermaid. And I just crawl around on the floor.
That starts somewhere.
Oh yeah, we'd play mermaid in the pool. I'd swim with my legs together all the time. Like I just wanted to be a mermaid. And
I was right. Yeah.
And so oh, there was my ADD.
I like when other people do it, because I had it like 2 or 3 times over my 2 episodes on Saturday. Just like, so
I just got diagnosed with it a couple months back. I was like, man, I just forget stuff all the time. And they're like, she gave me like this whole like list. She's like, yeah, and I was like, yeah. She goes, you have ADHD. And I was like, oh, that makes so much sense. Like, yeah, I'm so glad I got you into it. It was so much fun. I'll tell that story too. So, but so I was like, I researched to see if there was a way to make a swimmable mermaid tail. And she was a fire dancer. So she was a performer, but she had put a YouTube video on how to make your own swimmable mermaid tail using a monofin. Which I can actually, where is it? Give me just a second.
Yep.
Use props for this one.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, she's for those that are, and if you guys are listening just on the audio version, head over to HWWS WebTV YouTube channel. There it is. Head over to the YouTube channel and you can see this live right there, or not live, but you can see the replay of this, so you know what she's talking about and what it looks like.
Yeah. So this is a monofin.
Okay.
So this is what goes into mermaid tails. I cut mine to do it kind of this shape. But it was round. These are things that free divers use.
Okay.
So that's what they're mostly. There's all sorts of different kinds, different shapes, sizes. They're all almost usually made of some kind of plexiglass, plastic, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Fiberglass. Sorry, there's some glass that are really nice.
Gotcha.
And but your feet go in here. You got your heel straps to adjust, and this is you swimming it. So the video was taking the monofin, getting some nylon spandex fabric, basically swimsuit fabric.
Okay.
Tracing your body, and cutting out and sewing together 2 sides of a mermaid tail. And you just stick the monofin in the bottom, and then stick your feet in. You roll it up like just one big long swimsuit.
Okay.
And so I made one when I was 16. I took all my Sweet 16 money, bought a monofin. It was like $60. It was probably the most expensive part. I went to a fabric store, got some fabrics that was like teal, and I made my first mermaid tail. And it was ugly as sin, but mine.
But it was my tail.
It was my tail. And I was like, for basically there being no market of mermaid tails, it was pretty. It was decent. It didn't have holes in it. I was very proud of it. It was a good tail. And it lasted me quite a long time. I used it for my first aerial party and stuff like that because it was a nice green color. I eventually made my own aerial tail and stuff too, and stuff like that. But that's basically how I got into it. I went swimming at my friend's pool, and then the school found out about it, and then I became fish girl at school. So I was so popular in my rural 2-country stoplight high school in South Carolina, living on the lake. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't popular before that, so it was kind of fine. Now people think it's really cool.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I'm like,
so that's like with the art stuff. I was the nerdy art kid, and everybody just didn't get it. Like some people like thought it was, I did good stuff, but I was still a loser. And then but now that I'm older, they're like, oh, it's really cool. They still won't buy it, but they think it's really cool.
Pretty much.
Bastards. So you build your first tail. Now, I believe you're a professional mermaid, correct?
Yes.
Now, is that your full-time gig, part-time gig? How does that work? Part-time gig. Okay.
I would love for it to be full-time, but especially with COVID, that's definitely not possible.
Yeah.
It's
freaking COVID.
I know. Just because technically, as an entertainment work can be a bit unsteady, especially being kind of very, very personalized, I guess is the way to say, kind of entertainment and very specific.
Right.
I don't require water for all gigs though, so that's a fun fact.
You can bring your own bucket.
Put me in water. I can sit there. They're what we call dry gigs and wet gigs.
Right. Right.
I actually got my first professional gig when I was 18.
Oh wow!
I had just graduated high school.
Okay.
And I was contacted by Ripley's Aquarium of Myrtle Beach in South Carolina. They had just started a mermaid program. They were testing it out at the Myrtle Beach location, and then if it went well, they were going to move it to all their locations, which they have done now. It was myself, a very, very famous mermaid whose level I am not on with, Mermaid Melissa, and Mermaid Shannon. They were the other two. They had already started the program. And I was basically being brought in because the third mermaid had fallen through. And they were like, hi, we saw your videos. You're local. You're in South Carolina. Come swim for us. We want to see how you do. And then we'll see if we hire you. And they hired me. Cool. I was floored.
Mermaid interview. Now, do you have to laminate your resume?
You probably should. Probably should.
I don't care if that was a dad joke. It made me chuckle. So my
resumes usually just throw me in the water and see what I do.
Right.
That's usually what it is. Like we have like a performance reel and stuff. Like a normal.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
But I also keep a list of like places I've worked, the kinds of water I've swam in, and the kinds of animals I've swam with and worked with.
The wet kind of water.
Wet water. Well, it's fresh water. I've worked in pool water, salt water.
Okay.
Springs, all sorts of different things. Each kind of water can pose its different challenges.
Gotcha.
And I started working at Ripley's. I worked there for the whole summer with them. We had a condo. They paid for me to get scuba certified. So I got my scuba certification while I was there as well, which was super cool.
How's it normal, like scuba tank? Like, is it normal scuba certification, or is it different? You're doing because mermaids work with it differently. It seems like
fuzzed out a little for me there.
Oh,
what was it?
You got me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So is it like a normal scuba certification? Like you can actually go and just grab a tank and the thing and go into the ocean, do a normal scuba dive, or?
Yeah, I got my open water certification. So I can, I'm certified to dive. I can dive in tanks. I can dive anywhere that just requires a good old open water certification. So
neat.
I can, if I lose my mask, I can get it back. If I lose my hose, I can get it back. I know all my procedures for, up and down and equalizing and all that good stuff, and finding my way back and forth, being able to read my equipment, all that good stuff.
Nice.
So that was a lot of fun though, because I got to do that 11 miles out in Myrtle Beach. Found out I get boat sick.
Oh, that sucks.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I got to swim with a big old sea turtle though, so that was like the coolest thing.
Cool.
It was super cool. It was like there was a plane that had gone down at the location that we were at, and the nose had broken off of the plane, and the sea turtle was just kind of chilling in there and came out and swam around. And we were just like, whoa! Oh
wow, that's really cool. So how long were you there?
I was there for a summer, so it was about, I think about 2 months.
Okay.
By the time I came in.
Now, did the mermaid stuff get incorporated into the kids' parties, or were you already?
It did eventually, yeah. I had done one. I had done, I had done two. I did 2 aerial parties. I did one for a girl that I had babysat, and one for someone by word of mouth. I can't remember exactly.
Excuse me.
But I had done aerial parties through that. So I was red wig. I had a little aerial top. I had my little fabric green tail. And
now, did the girl that you babysit know it was you, or did she think you were Ariel?
I think she thought I was Ariel because it was a while ago. Okay. I'm pretty sure she thought I was Ariel, or she knew. And I mean, I'm sure she knows now, obviously, but
right.
But even if she did know, she never said anything. She referred to me as Ariel the whole time. Yeah,
because I'm just waiting for her to like standing there staring at you. It's like,
she might have known, and I think she just like understood, like, oh, you're also Ariel. Like, I think that's how she thought it in her mind. She's like, oh, cool, my babysitter's Ariel. Like, that was just like what she thought. I don't remember.
There you go.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, some kids are like super smart. Some kids are too smart for their own good. Other kids are, you worry about them.
The amount of, you're not a real mermaid.
That's when you just smack them with the tail.
There was what you.
Am
I allowed to say I've wanted to hurt children before because I've wanted to hurt children before.
Yeah, this is a non-kid friendly show. So,
oh Lord, there was one gig that I work with my troupe now. I've been working with them for about 4 years now. Yeah, I've been with them 3 or 4 years professionally in Florida, and we had one continuous gig where we worked at a. I won't name it for just in case we go back, but a very nice hotel.
Yeah.
And we would go there usually roughly on like the major holiday weekends. And we would do a 2-hour set in their family pool. There'd be 2 of us, and they would be like, hey, come swim with mermaids. It's 2 hours. It's like 2 to 4 in the afternoon, go to the family pool. And a lot of parents thought that we were a babysitting service. So they left their children at the pool. There's no lifeguards. I'm like, okay, good.
Good luck, kid.
Have fun.
He's
dead. Like, I'm not responsible here. It's states so in my contract.
There you go.
But the kids, because they were very, very affluent children, there was basically only 2 sides. You either got the sweet little angel babies,
right,
that were just little, like, just fun, having fun with the mermaids, so excited to see you, will probably cry of excitement if they ever see you again, or a tail flip, and like just the sweetest, purest children,
right?
Or you had the absolute shitheads. I had one little girl who was like, she came up to me. We start off in the shallow end, and they just kind of swarm us. So we get pictures, we get to talk to them for a bit. They get to ask us a million questions before we start swimming with them, just so they can kind of like get it a bit out of their system first.
Right.
And while we're still not looking like drowned after like 2 hours. So, this one girl came up to me and she was like, you don't have any legs. And I was like, yeah, I don't have a tail. She goes, so you couldn't get away. And I was like, what?
Oh my god.
She was like, yeah, so if I like punched you in the face, you couldn't do anything about it because you can't get out. You can't chase me. And I'm like,
wow.
I didn't know what to say. My other mermaid with me, she didn't even hear it. I'm just like, what do I say to that?
See, and then people ask me why I don't want children. That's why. They're assholes.
They're so terrifying.
I would like to make a bet that if you have a child, it's at least 50 to 75% chance that your kid's an asshole.
And they'll probably grow out of it.
Bauer
as long as you raise them right, they'll probably grow out of it. But I mean, they're gonna be they're crazy.
Well, my wife and I are terrible people and smart asses and assholes. So our kid would be the tiniest super asshole ever.
Like a concentrated asshole.
Yeah. But he would also know I'd backhand him if he would have pulled something like that. So,
I was like, you're not allowed to punch. I was like, it's not nice to punch people. I'm just like in my most sweetest voice, and she dropped it. And I was just like, what the heck is wrong with this child?
And then you kind of want to go, I could still drown you though.
I can.
Here's one right here.
I will say I've only had to snap on a child out of my mermaid voice one time.
Oh, really?
It was at this hotel.
Can't wait to go back, right?
I'm so excited. We literally sometimes with our performers, they're like, okay, we have the gig coming up. Who wants it? And we're like,
Now, you don't have to answer. I'm just curious. Is it one of those gigs that it's worth the money, or is the money not worth it? Like, is it not enough?
Borderline.
Oh, that's the worst, because you're kind of like,
know.
you need it, but they're assholes.
But like, money.
I can always dream about drowning them later.
Man, that's the dream. Just drown like one kid, just like one, just like there was she wouldn't stop being aggressive with me, and I like physically like tugging on my tail and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, we don't do that. She would like pull on me. She was like climbing on top of me, and I'm like, okay, no, like pulling on my arm, pulling on my hair. And it was at one point I was laying on my stomach in the shallows, and I had my tail flipped up for a photo. So head down here, tail,
right.
Whoop. It's really cute. And I put my tail back down because that pose takes a lot of energy. It's not very comfortable. So I was like, okay, we got our pictures. I'm gonna put my tail back down. So I put it back down. I'm still laying on my stomach, and she comes up behind me, and I don't see her. And she takes the tips of my fluke and just yanks it like this, twisting my ankles.
Oh man, because you're like strapped in with that and everything, right? So it just, wherever the tail goes, everything else goes, and not in a good way.
No.
Oof.
There's no movement. That thing is stuck to me on like a second skin.
Man, my ankles hurt now.
I didn't. No, thankfully nothing was actually twisted. My ankles were very sore for like a couple days, but thankfully there was no like damage. Because thankfully the fluke is also very heavy, so she wasn't able to get too much push behind it.
That's good.
But I turned around and I snapped at her. My husband saw it. He was mertending us.
We gotta talk words next. I gotta learn some of these words. Mertending. So he was basically watching and making sure that we're safe, and then he jumps in if we need to. It's either that or he's tending a mermaid bar.
It's one or the other.
One or the other, or both, depending on how the day's going.
I snapped at her. I just like, you do not touch me like that. I was like, my voice dropped a couple notches. I was no longer like, I was like, I put the fear of God in that child.
Did it work at least? Yes. She get it? Oh, good. Did you make her cry?
I think, but she ran away.
We're gonna pretend. Oh, well, that's close. I mean, running away is like before crying.
So my husband came up and he was like, "Where are your parents?" And she was like, "They're over there." And he was like, "Come with me." Yeah, and was like, "Your kid's a piece of shit." Like just I don't know what happened.
Kid's a piece of shit. Take care of it.
Oh yeah.
Good. Oh man. All right. So we got to learn. You got to teach me some mer terminology.
Okay.
So we already did mertending.
Okay. So that's basically your human counterpart who comes with you on gigs, who makes sure that you stay safe. For good water safety measures, we'll take pictures. Sometimes, make sure that everything's going well, that your set times stay on schedule, because obviously we usually don't have access to a clock or anything.
Right.
So we have those set times. We need to make sure that that we're getting on and off set. They usually take us to and from changing areas, because we can't change in front of anyone.
Right.
Especially if I was like, we can, depending on the gig, but usually anytime it's preserving the magic,
right?
And you mermaidology.
Oh, it looks like she's another mermaid, I believe.
She is. That is my dear friend Kathy. We volunteered together at Give World in Orlando.
Well, thank you for tuning in, Kathy.
She's lovely.
Now, so I'm going to ask questions in between the mermaidology. Now, I got two questions. One is, have you, like, with swimming with all these kids and everything, you're actually swimming with them, right?
Oh yeah.
So have they like taken you down? Like, have you almost had drowning incidents? How does anything scary like that? Okay.
I've not had, thankfully, anything scary like that. I'm very grateful for that. I do have CPR training, so if something does happen, and I want to get some lifeguard training as well.
Okay.
but I do, you know, exercises and stuff and a lot of practicing to make sure I stay fit should anything happen. But and also usually with children, we stay out of deeper ends.
Okay.
So unless it's an older child, like somewhere in the 8 to 10, there's somewhere that they're a more seasoned swimmer.
Okay, so you're more kind of sitting around, maybe a little swimming. And
we definitely swim. No,
okay.
Gotcha. We swim for them more so.
Okay.
So we'll swim next to them. We'll swim alongside them. We'll do like, hey, take your goggles, look under the water, and watch me do a backflip. So we kind of like show off for them a bit and stuff like that. I do like bubble rings where I blow little bubble circles, but they can also watch that from the top because the rings come up to the top. And occasionally we'll do, if the pool's big enough, we'll do like races. So they're like, hey, all right, everybody line up, you know, nobody overlap each other. So everybody spreads out and has their own like lane. And then we all swim to the other side and I always win. There's always like one smart ass kid's like, I'm going to win. And I'm like, no, you're not. No, you're not. I have a fin.
My next question is with the people that help you, when you can't change right in front of people, do they put you on? I've seen it a few times. Do they put you on like a cart to take you around?
I have been on a cart. I've been on a wheelchair. I've been on a luggage cart. I've been in a wheelbarrow. I've been in a number of accoutrements, and sometimes it's just carrying.
Okay. It always makes me chuckle because I've been at quite a few different conventions, and like some of them have been conventions. There's like no water around, maybe a pool. I can't remember, but they'll toss the mermaid onto like one of those things and cart them around the convention, and it always cracks me up. Oh, it makes me chuckle every time.
It's a lot of fun. So it's fun because I just get none of the work and like all the time I'm just like wee.
So what are some other mermaid terminology?
Your Persona, which I mentioned earlier, that would be Mermaid Persona. Mm-hmm. So I have two. I started off as Lorelei, and that's my main staple tail. She's gold, has these blue stripes on them, kind of like tiger stripes down the side. Okay. She's Siren, very much in attitude. I like shiny things, and I will drown men and eat them for fun. I love her. And then we have what I'm wearing now, which is Serenity, or at least part of Serenity.
Okay.
And speaking of Serenity, here she is. This is her.
Wow, that is gorgeous.
Fit her in the frame. But, she's been big floppy piece of silicone.
It looks alive just on its own, holding it. It's like
there's her scales, her body.
Oh, very pretty.
She's a very opalescent. She's opal and gold colored too. She's very bright and shimmery. Kathy dropped me one time carrying me.
Oh no!
And I have never let her carry me since. And I never let her forget it. We were volunteering. She was a pirate that night, and I was the last mermaid to get carted out. And she was like, "I'll carry you," and I was like, "Are you sure?" And she was like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "You're shorter than me." And I'm like, she was like, "I can do it." And I was like, "All right." She picked me up, and we went one step and.
No, she didn't even get.
Oh no, we didn't get anywhere. We got to the floor.
There we go.
And I love her very much for it. It was very fun, but I will never let her forget. She's so mad.
She is conveying her. Oh man.
So you have your Persona, and then Serenity is basically more or less my Sailor Moon mermaid.
Okay.
With the pod that I work with, we actually all have we have a lot of we go with a scientific kind of performance approach. Okay. So all of our assistants are sailors. They're all parts of this research vessel that studies and studies mermaids and stuff. So we have a pod that swims around with the boat. They study us. They interact with us. They bring us out to humans and stuff like that. So we have different terminology, like mermaids and sirens are different. Mermen act different ways. No. Too cute. And all like different types of environments that they live in, how they, survive underwater, they're mammals, all this kind of like, we really went into detail about the scientific kind of stuff. So each of us has our own backstory about how we joined the pod, and stuff like that. So Serenity being my Sailor Moon based one, they found her, she was orphaned, and they found her in the Sea of Japan, swimming, attempting to get to the moon on the horizon.
Very cute.
Thinking that the shimmering of the moon on the water and everything, it matched her scale, so she thought that's where she was from, so that's where she kept trying to swim to but could never reach it. So until she bumped into the pod and they took her in, and so that's her. Lorelei was found. She was a rescue. She was
drowning 5 guys.
She wasn't at the moment.
At the moment.
She had her shiny treasure hoard. She lived on the Rhine River in Germany.
Okay.
I actually based her off the old legend of Lorelei Rock. So they found her at Lorelei Rock on the Rhine River. She was pinned in her treasure trove. Something had happened. A rock had fallen. Her tail was pinned. She'd been out of water for a while. They heard her siren song. They came. They rescued her, nursed her back to health. Got all of her shiny things because she needs them. She's more or less like a little dragon. That's basically it. Her philosophy behind the whole drowning people thing is like, oh, you don't sink ships. It's like, look, honestly, if you're on a ship and it sinks, you need to be able to swim anyway. So if you drown, it's kind of your fault. It's not my problem. You were on the ocean. You should know how to swim. It's kind of her mindset. So we each have our own stories, how we joined and stuff like that, whether we were a rescue or we were maybe, like Serenity was an orphan. Some were, we just found, we found her because she was trying to steal some rum.
Okay.
And we found her.
I like it. That's cute. That's awesome. I didn't know there was so much backstory and all that stuff. That's really cool.
Not everyone does, but our pod specifically likes to do that, especially because we do Ren fairs and stuff like that. So it's really great to have our showmanship there as well. So we have a traveling tank show, so we'll be in the tank.
Is that the one with you see like there's a window and there's like blue around it? Okay. I was just about to ask where that was. That travels with you.
Yes, that travels. I've traveled everywhere in the state.
Okay.
Mostly takes it to Ren fairs. We've done some like country club stuff with it before. We did a county fair once with it. That was fun.
Did that go well? Because county fairs are always interesting.
It was okay. We didn't get
some interesting people.
Because we didn't have much in the way of the weekend I worked. Our assistant unfortunately couldn't make it, so we kind of had to be each other's assistants. So I had another mermaid there. So whenever she wasn't in the water, she was out there opening the curtain for me and stuff, basically.
Oh, okay.
And I was just kind of solo and talking to people, so it was a little but I got cotton candy afterwards. Like,
oh, there you go.
I don't have to.
Man, I have been, I haven't been to one like before COVID. I can't remember the last time I was at a country fair, carnival or something. I have been dying for one of those. I want some shitty fair food and like all the good French fries.
And just
oh,
I love French fries.
I just love the smell of them too. Like there's certain spots that don't smell good, but when you're right in the middle of all the food,
just like right in the kernel of the.
Somebody needs to make a candle of that.
It's just it smells like diabetes,
and it smells amazing. So, what are some other terminology?
I know we had our fluke, which is not necessarily mermaid terminology, but that's the end of our tail. That's basically
okay.
The big fin at the end of the tail is our fluke. Let's see. Oh, I'm trying to think because I use it so often. It's hard to be like distinguish sometimes. What's mermaid terminology and what's not? We use a lot of ocean puns. I will say that. I like to do that, like shelfies and Instaclam and Facebook, and so we use that for like social media and stuff like that. We love our little, so we like to do a lot of that. That just made me. Why my brain went there, but when you were beforehand asking me about the whole eating thing.
Oh, yes, yes.
Oh, that's a good one, Leila. The maneuvers. I'll get to that. Okay. The eating thing, we have part of our shtick with the Ren fairs is we sell oysters with pearls in them. Okay. So you buy a token from our lovely sailor. They give you this shiny little coin. You bring that coin to a mermaid. You pick out whichever one's in the tank. Sometimes it's just one, sometimes it's two. Mm-hmm. We take the coin, we dive down, and we get you an oyster. One of the things we like to do is playfully eat the oysters. Okay. Fun fact, the oysters in the water are not real. The ones in the water are fake.
You're making the illusion.
I know.
I can never see it the same again.
They are silicone, so that way we can clean them, that they're safe, and they don't muck up the water at all. Because we're putting real oysters in the water, it gets nasty oyster juice and bits and shell and.
Ew! Yeah, I didn't even think of that. Ew!
It's gross. Yeah. It gets nasty.
And you're swimming in an actual fishbowl, and who wants to do that? Nobody. Fish don't even want to do that.
So we do it. We'll fake eat the oysters, and we usually put them in our mouth, and then turn and swim around and drop them when we're at the back of the tank, so you can't really see them.
Okay. Okay. Because I saw a few different pictures of that. I'm like, and it actually, in the picture, because I was going through quickly, it looks like a brownie. I'm like, how does this work?
It kind of does.
Yeah. Okay.
It does look like a brownie. This is an oyster. One of my Mer sisters and I guess another term is we're Mer sisters.
Right.
Mer siblings.
Mer sisters.
Sisters. Our sea sisters. It's another cute one. But we actually had a how many oysters can you fit in your mouth contest at a mermaid festival that we took the tank to. And that was super fun. She got 4, I got 3. I think. I was like, I ran out of time. I was like, oh no, I can't. I was like, I couldn't fit this last one. I was like, oh no. And
I'm a mermaid, not a snake, damn it.
I know. I was like, I want more, but oh no, the maneuvers. So a lot of the maneuvers, it's very akin, I would have to say, to I've never done synchronized swimming, but I would assume it's a little akin to that. Not all of our moves are synchronized. We do have some. Everybody will have their own name for them. But we often we have a set of each mermaid will have their own kind of move set that they can go through and stuff like that that's in their repertoire. Some mermaids can do some tricks better than others, or don't do, some mermaids do different things. Bubble rings would be one of the ones that I mentioned earlier. It's where we go down, we have to lay kind of flat, and we over our cheeks, blow out, and we create these little rings that their bubbles come out in a ring. So that's cool. It is something that dolphins do in the wild, so we also use that in our show to educate. I was like, hey, look, the dolphins taught us how to do this. They do this with their blowholes in the wild.
Oh, look at you guys educating people.
I know, it's fun. Oh, my signature move. I love my
now you're a WWE wrestler. I love it. What's your signature move? Is it is it the rock bottom?
It's the how many oysters I can fit in my mouth. It's not. My signature move, my favorite move, I probably do it more than anybody else. I alternate between, depending on how I go about it, it's either the Spider-Man or the 180.
Okay, you got me at Spider-Man. What is the Spider-Man?
The Spider-Man you can only do in certain locations. I pretty much can only exclusively do it in aquariums. That's pretty much the only time it's useful. And that is when I will have, say, like the glass here. So this is where people will see me. I'll swim up on the surface, swim as close to the glass as I can, and backflip down. And I will climb upside down the wall. That is my favorite to do. I love doing it. It was something that I learned at Ripley's Aquarium, and it stuck with me forever. It's my favorite move. I love doing it because I can get down at the bottom. I can blow a kiss, make a little heart, and then I swim, turn around and swim up.
That's cool.
And they get to watch me swim away. That's my favorite thing to do. And then in smaller locations, when I'm like in the tank or maybe in a smaller aquarium window or something like that, would be the 180, which is more or less the same thing. I'll swim up to the window. I'll put my hands on the window, smile, do a little wave, and then I will turn upside down. I will just turn upside down, and I will hang upside down in the window, make a little face, blow some bubbles, do something really cute, turn back around right side up, and swim away.
That's
But
awesome.
I always love hearing the kids afterwards. Usually whenever I get to see any footage of it, that one's always the biggest hit.
That's awesome.
It's my favorite one. It also murders my sinuses, but I usually, everybody knows, like I make sure the other performers know that I'm going down to do it, because when I come back up from that, I have to kind of take a second to blow out my nose.
Oh, geez.
As it kind of gets all up in there. We don't wear nose plugs.
Right.
I just kind of suffer for the art. And
I kill my sinuses for art.
I do. All I smell is salt for like a week. Or chlorine, depending on what I'm in.
Oh God, I have snorted too much chlorine and I can't even. Oh God, it's so bad.
There's a point where you kind of get immune to it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Right.
I'm sure. Let's see.
It's a nose burn. Yeah, it is. You just kind of get numb to it. And I think that's what the thing is working at Ripley's. I did those shows like 4 times a day.
Oh wow.
You just kind of get numb to it. At a certain point, and you're like, oh yeah, it definitely hurts. They're like, are you okay? And I'm like, no. Fine.
So we're getting towards I'm sure you and I can talk forever. It's been fantastic chatting with you, and it's great to get to know you. Hopefully we'll get to have you on again, and then hopefully sometime soon we can see each other in person since you're in Florida. We have one quick question. Do you make noises to each other underwater?
Ooh, not usually to each other. What we will do, we usually we'll make signals to each other above, like when we surface for a brief moment, point to each other like, hey, you need to go down, like, or something like that. Or, hey, do you want to do, we have one, like when we want to do something coordinated, we'll look at each other and we kind of make those signals of like, okay, we're going to dance. Is, hey, we're going to meet down in the middle and we're going to dance. It's like, okay. And make sure. But what we do, however, is when we have our tank, the microphone that our sailors use goes to an underwater speaker for us as well. Okay. So what's really fun to do is we can hear everything that they're saying. So when they're introducing us, when they're talking to us, or they're like talking to the kids and they think they can't hear us or whatever, it's like, oh no, they can hear us underwater, and we can make faces and like mouth words, or do little disapproving, whatever, playful, and we can react to whatever they're saying. And the kids think that's really fun. And it's a lot of fun when they come up and ask questions to us underwater too. As they'll be like underwater, and we can like nod yes or no, or we can make this, and make little motions. We don't typically make noises to each other underwater. Okay. We'll occasionally knock on something if we desperately need like an attention sort of thing, but we don't typically actually.
Now, is it I thought of this question. Now, is it, I've seen some where like the mermaids really don't talk. Do you do that at all? Is it like a mix of like sometimes you're talking, sometimes you're not, or?
Typically we do like to do the talking. Okay. We find some of our performers, some of their personas, like maybe they talk a little less, like, okay, they know maybe more broken English, which can be kind of cool. And funny for the kids as well. Right. But we don't tend to do silent mermaids, or we don't do mermaids that only like make noises. Like we make mermaid noises, and we have a mermaid noise that we will make when we're like, oh, speak mermaid to us, like, and we'll do it. But we do find that interacting with the kids and being able to talk to them, and that's part of we even work into the show, is that okay, they're really smart, they're mammals, they're dolphins, they can learn speech. Like all of these speeches that they've learned are from us. We've taught them English, we've taught them Spanish, we've taught them sign language, we've taught them whatever language that mermaid speaks. It's a learned behavior, quote unquote, Neat. Basically, so that we can talk with them. But we still, like, oh, if we ask what their favorite food, and they're like pizza, and I'm like, what's a pizza? So we don't know everything. We still play dumb and everything, but we can understand and communicate with them. Very cool.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking time out and chatting with me. This has been a very fun chat, and it's actually made my day a lot better. It was nice to laugh and joke with you and have some fun. So I thank you so much for fixing my brain tonight, because it was a hell of a day. But where can, I know you're probably not out and about much right now because of, hell. But where can people follow you? So hopefully eventually they can come out and see you.
You can follow me at Lady Allura. You can also follow my specific mermaid page, mermaid.lorelei on Instagram. The pod that I work with is called Blue Mermaid Designs. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, under all of that. And I believe we recently did a stint with the Clearwater Marine Aquarium for their Mermaid Tails week. We were their Clearwater Marine Aquarium mermaids. It was amazing. It was a wonderful experience. I do believe we will be back. So keep an eye out for that for another Mermaid Tails week. We should hopefully be there. We were there for 5 days last time. So definitely come and check us out. We're occasionally at Ren fairs as well. So keep an eye out on your local Ren fairs, but we do post to the Blue Mermaid Designs pages whenever we do have an event that is public.
Very cool.
And I tend to post about them as well whenever I'm specifically making an appearance, because I don't always necessarily work every single event, but I try to.
Nice. Well, and just so you guys know, I put all of Lady Allura's links down below, either on the Facebook page or they'll be a part of the YouTube page as well. So if you're watching on any of this, please go down and click the links, give her a follow, let her know that you heard her here on Back Talk with Bauer, because I'm sure that'll make her very happy.
You will.
All right, guys. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. I appreciate all of Lady Allura's friends for popping in. I hope you guys subscribe to the show. I hope you enjoyed it. I do lots of interviews like this. So if you've never seen the show before, every other week is an interview like this with somebody creative, either a cosplay artist, musician, whoever I can actually talk into coming on the show. And then the middle in between episodes are random group discussions. I get 3 to 4 of my random friends, people that have been on the show before, anything like that. And we talk about whatever I'm in the mood for. So upcoming episodes are going to be, we're going to do like a WandaVision recap right before the last episode airs. So we're going to do a recap, and then we're going to take guesses of how WandaVision is going to end. We also have a WrestleMania episode coming up. It'll be the week before WrestleMania goes down. We're going to talk about all the matches, what's been going on, how things are going to work out, and kind of get some stuff going on. So if any of that interests you, head over to facebook.com/JBauerArt or JBauerArt.com. You can find everything Back Talk with Bauer there. You can find all my artwork, all that stuff. And support me. If you want to buy any of the paintings, same places. If anything catches your eye, and there's even more on the website, and something catches your eye and you want more about it or want to buy it or whatever, let me know and we'll get you squared away. If you live in the Florida area, I will meet up with you to save on shipping. So there's all kinds of options like that. And a shout out to one more sponsor tonight before we head out, if I can find it. That is Hennessy Live TV. This show is also powered by Hennessy Live TV. You can find it on HennessyLiveTV.com, the comic book network created by Geeks for Geeks. You can find tons of podcasts like myself, artists like myself. They've got basically, it's like a channel guide for everything geek. Cosplayers, artists, creators, comic book shops. If you want to find like comic book shops all across the country to either go see in person when we're allowed to or support online, you can go to NSCLiveTV.com and find it all. So go ahead, hit them up. Other than that, guys, I will catch you next week. Later.